What's going on, guys? I have Perfect 10, Issue 3, and yeah, we're just going to get right on into it. So, quick recap. We have 10. She has been captured by the Syndicate, and what they were trying to do is just get rid of her, off her, because she is one of, like, the last remaining assassin, and she is a synthetic human being. So, she was created basically for the sole purpose of just wiping out uh, like superpowered individuals, and they took an issue with that, and uh, they were able to capture her. So that is where we're continuing on from. Um, so this is issue 3, where the heart is. Dave and Pow collaborating again on this one, and they are doing very well for this. So uh, this is Crimson, now as no longer the werewolf, or at least the wolf. He has had his powers taken from him as punishment, and as noted here, it is temporary. So that wasn't a concern of mine in the previous issue, and I couldn't remember how it all played out. This is just a temporary deal, and so I'm like, okay, that I'm okay with that as just a punishment from Calamity, rather than just completely removing it and he never gets him back, because I thought that would have been against her overall objective. So it's nice to see that we did get that cleared up. And this is his girlfriend, and man, he knows how to pick 'em. But she's no longer really interested in him now that he's no longer the wolf. And I'm like, ooh, um, some she knows how to pick him as well. So and this is what he's telling her is like, look, I get that I'm just the human, but I'll be the wolf again. And she's not interested, but says when the other person comes back, let her know. And I felt that was a little cold-hearted, but I mean, she is kind of a devil woman, so what are you gonna do? It's hard to argue that her morale is her morals are in weird spots. So, uh, the syndicate members who went and captured 10 bring her back. We see Traverse and her, like, a little circle here. Everybody's back. 10's right here. And Killshock had his leg broken right at the end of the previous issue, and yeah, he's still hurting. And we see this individual. His name is Glitch. Now, Glitch is the reason why Calamity was able to hack into Division M's motherboard, and how Calamity was then able to talk with Max and negotiate for 10's capture here, although they managed to do it anyway. So yeah, Glitch is a little concerned why 10 would be there, because he knows that all these synthetics have a tracking device in them. He's like, well, we're going to have to go ahead and remove that, and unfortunately for you, 10, it's going to be pretty fatal. And so you see how he's just kind of putting his hand up her nose and in her mouth, because I'm assuming that the tracking device is in her brain. I don't remember offhand if it clearly states that, but just given the location of where he's going, it looks like it's somewhere in her brain. Now Calamity steps in and stops him and says, it's all pointless anyway, because that tracking information is going to show where she's been. So even if we take it out, get rid of her, they're still going to come here looking for her. That is, if they want to start something. It's unlikely that they're going to, because again, she was given the all clear from Max to go ahead and get rid of the synthetic, and that there would be peace. That was kind of their deal. And so she says, instead of killing her, what we're going to do is reprogram her, which is kind of something I figured was going to be the case, especially since 10 had been programmed and had her mind erased and all this, that, and the other. 10's not exactly thrilled about this idea. We know that she didn't like that to begin with on one side. Now she's captured here, and they're going to basically do the old switcheroo and now just have her killing the other side. And she's not appreciating the whole being a pawn of everybody else. And she will say that later on. Meanwhile, we have Replica. She was captured by the Safeguard, which I want to correct myself from the previous one. I did say Safeguard was an individual. That is not the case. Safeguard is kind of like that collective that came. And so Frontrunner was the only one that we truly got the name of, at least that I can remember at this point. And speaking of Frontrunner, there he is right there. But meanwhile, before we get to Frontrunner here, we have Max trying to just talk to Replica. And we saw she wasn't exactly happy about all the events unfolding in front of her. Like, she seemed very upset. And she's trying to explain all that with Max at this moment. And she's like, I thought we were just, going to kill this robot person. That's all the information she really had. This was her first outing. She thought she was fitting in with a group, and she really wasn't. She was like horrified by the events that were happening. And Max is very skeptical of all of this before he's interrupted by Frontrunner. Frontrunner then tells him, hey, we have the location of where 10's at. And they're not exactly certain what they're going to be getting themselves into. Max is like, be careful. Losing 10's one thing, but losing the entire Safeguard, that's a whole other thing. We want to make sure that we do this very delicately. And so off Frontrunner goes before Max is refocusing his attention on Replica here. Back at the Prime Syndicate, we still see, she must be pretty good, if you know what I mean, because Crimson ain't letting go of this. She's like, dude, why are you still following me? You're being kind of creepy, and he's not having it. He really wants to get back with her, and we see. They're coming across a couple guys that are fighting. One of them, I really like his design. He's basically a volcano dude. And I like that he's just kind of chomping on a cigar. I just like his overall look. I will kind of wonder, I do like wonder a little bit, like you see all this smoke piling out of him. They must have some really, really good ventilation to make sure he's not like killing everyone in there with all of the smoke. So... and nothing really much to say there. Like, I'm not really trying to say anything negative there. I'm just making an observation on that. The other guys are starting to give him some crap, though. Crimson some crap. Because, Crimson's been punished. He's had his powers taken from him. And he's like, look, you won't be saying that once I have my wolf powers. He's like, and the big old volcano guy is like, oh, if you're not just some normie, why don't you come on in and... train with us a little bit. And he's like, you know what, fuck you guys, I'm out. So yeah, Crimson, he's feeling kind of just put on the outs here. So meanwhile, we have 10 being held up by the big guy there with the 4 arms, as Glitch is getting everything ready and Calamity's coming over and just discussing their plans and stuff like that. And this big guy that's been with Calamity here is like, I don't know if it's such a good idea for us to be doing all this. They know our location, they'll be coming. Calamity's like, well, they wouldn't. And if they for whatever reason do, that's okay. We'll let them take 10. And then meanwhile, she can be taken over there and then she'll just kill everybody because by that point we'll already have her reprogrammed. And Tyrannosaur here, he's like, I don't know if we really want to be pressing our luck. We went out, we did our thing, we got our message across. Maybe not invite him to a rematch, because we might not be as lucky the next time around. But then their conversation gets cut short. Glitch says, hey, we're ready. Let's go ahead and do this. And 10 goes ahead and flips on out of there, sacrifices a few fingers, at least by being broken. Like, she still has them. They're just broken. You can kind of make it out here on the screen that they are all crooked. They are all fucked. And starts making her getaway. Calamity feeling for a moment pretty impressed, but then tells the rest of her crew just go ahead and get after her. So back they all are, including Morbid and the disease dude. And I will say, this dude, we do get to see like some of his power being utilized, but I still feel like his is a little bit more on the joke side compared to everybody else. Meanwhile, we're going to take a quick break. We see Virgil. He's trying to contact his son. We saw in the last issue they're not getting along. His son John has got a real big grudge against his father. Max interrupts him, and they start to discuss everything, like the whole idea behind what their initial attempts were to try and save Erin, Virgil's wife, who has passed away. They had thought about maybe taking her consciousness and putting it into like a synthetic and doing stuff like that. And they discuss some of that. They also talk about how when Ten was woken back up, there was no safety protocol, and she could have just as easily killed Virgil. And he felt, well, I'm going to die anyway. These guys are breaking in. They're slaughtering everybody. They're going to destroy the entire facility. Might as well wake her up. She kills me, so be it. But she at least will have her free will. Like, he was just trying to set her free, and he felt that it was like kind of making up for some of his mistakes in the past, and that they kind of owe it to her. And we get a demonstration of everything that she had been through. And I really want to talk about how I love that we get this version of Ten, and you can see just in her eyes, she is definitely more robotic. Like, you don't see that she's there. In the rest of these pages, there is like a humanity to her that you can see. And I thought Pow did a very good job illustrating to us both sides here. Like, I could see these pictures lined up with the other pictures, and I can tell you which ones were which. And I'm not entirely certain how he's doing it. I'm not good at interpreting art in certain ways, but just as a reader, I can tell the point that's trying to be gotten across here. Like, this is a programmed individual. She comes off very robotic, and they do a great job illustrating that. I was really taken by that. So we see everything that she was doing there. And then Max is trying to talk some sense to him. He's like, no matter what you have, thought out, keep in mind, be on your guard, because deep down she is a killer. And so I think Max has got good intentions behind everything. I don't think he's like villainous or anything like that. Like, when Calamity made that deal with him, he was kind of put in a hard spot. She said, either give us the synthetic person or I'm going to kill everyone. What do? You have Virgil to your use still. He's alive. He was a big part of why you were able to create these people to begin with. So it's like, yeah, we lose one. I still have somebody I can help create more if needed, versus letting a whole bunch of innocent people die. I don't think he went into that agreement with Calamity lightly. So we cut back over into, I believe this facility is actually called the Citadel as well. It's where the Prime Syndicate is. And Ten is just fighting everybody in her path. She's just trying to make an escape. She makes a getaway. We get a little funny moment here where Morbid just cannot keep up. Ten's way over here. Morbid's way back here. And just trying to keep up. Ten goes crashing through a window and ends up in a different room where the wall starts to close up behind her. We see by the powers of somebody else here. And we meet the architect, and he is the one that's speaking to her the most. Like, nobody else really chimes in. And he offers to just kind of... And by the way, I want to note real quick. So her fingers are broken, but they do start to heal up. And by the end of this, it is completely healed. So just for continuity, we want to make note of that, because yeah, she will have healed fingers by this point on. But what Architect is explaining to her is just like, hey, you've been feeling lost. We all feel lost. That's why we all are here. You could be part of our family, more or less. And this catches Ten off guard. She's like, why the hell would I want to do that? You guys are killing people. Your boss wants to reprogram me. Why the hell would I even do that? And he's like, look, me and Calamity, we don't always see eye to eye, but I can talk sense into her. So why don't you let me talk to her? There'll be no more running, no more killing, no programming. And she's like, yeah, no, go fuck yourself. And he's like, okay, well, I think you're making a mistake, but have it your way. And they end that peacefully. He basically walls her back out. And yeah, I just see that's part of why I wanted to make note of the broken fingers, because right here, that would have been an issue if we didn't establish that. And yeah, she finds herself once again surrounded by everybody else. We cut over to Killshock, and he was talking about how they shouldn't have let Replica, because she's kind of a weak link and she'll give away information. And that is before Calamity comes in with Mute and Tyrannosaur and says, don't worry about her. And they're bringing Glitch in. And Calamity says, okay, well, we need to go get 10. So leaves these two to deal with guarding these two. And Calamity tells Traverse it's time to go. And so we see 10. She is now just fighting her way through. And I was really trying to analyze this. It doesn't really look like any of these characters are just waiting to get punched by 10. It looks like everybody is trying to get in on it. And 10 is just utilizing speed and skill in order to avoid some to take care of others. And I do appreciate that kind of, I guess, choreography, for lack of a better term right now. But yeah, nobody seems to be waiting their turn. We have the stretchy guy. I don't remember his name again. That is kind of like a slight gripe I have with these. It's just so many names to try and remember. It's impossible for me to do so. We got the stretch guy coming over here, trying to grab at her. She's avoiding that. Smacks him in the head real quick while jumping on his head. Blinds him, and then continues to move on. And I do like that we're showing that she's just moving, and people aren't just sitting there waiting their turn to get hit in the face. And we do see that a lot with current day media, where you got some guys just sitting there waiting to get hit in the head. And I don't understand it. So I want to give praise where I think we're doing such a good job. So she grabs this guy's hammer, bashes the big guy over some more, but that hammer is it's got its own powers, and it basically is sucking the life right out of her arm. Meanwhile, Hive Mind is sending the bees. Okay, so now she's covered in bees, but it really doesn't seem to slow her down. Just more or less pisses her off. Once again, just kind of proving my point. I think he's just kind of a joke. I don't take him too seriously myself. So she goes over, kicks his ass. I believe his name is Ill Will. Comes over, tries to hit him with disease. She's like, don't you remember that shit doesn't work on me, but it'll work on your buddy. So she just grabs his arm and throws it at Hive Mind over here. And that guy's just throwing up from whatever disease it was that Ill Will put on him. And so she is doing her best to just kick everyone's ass. She's getting beat up a little bit. Some of it's pissing her off, like the bees, but that damage to her arm, some serious stuff. But we have seen now that she can heal fairly quick. We come back over to Crimson. He's still kind of put off by everybody and the loss of his powers. And then he gets a spear in his face, and this is where we meet Vendetta. Now, Vendetta's kind of pissed that he's the only survivor. And I'm not sure if she's necessarily saying that he was in on like setting him up or something like that. But he was like, look, everybody volunteered, myself included. I didn't see you volunteering, so if you're going to point your spear at anybody, point it at yourself. You know, he's kind of just over this shit. He's like, I'm fucking tired of everybody just dogging me right now. You know, if you got a problem with me, you know, just shove it up your ass. I don't care. So yeah, then everybody else is, we see Ill Will coming out, covered in bees, and he's running away. So this clues everybody in to maybe go check and see what's going on over there. And they see Ten's just still fighting everybody. And Crimson's like, oh, it's the assassin, let's go. This kind of triggers Ten. She's like, stop calling me that. And I'm not an assassin. As you just see all this blood. All of this blood. Splattering all over the place. Like, she is fucking him up. And we're going to see how badly she fucks up Crimson. And yeah, she's kind of coming to as to what she just did. And, I mean, Crimson's dead. His face is all fucked up. Part of his brain's sitting over here. Like, he's had a real number done to him. And she's kind of looking horrified at what she just did. And that's where we'll leave her for now. In the last couple pages, we have Max over here and talking with the president. President's not exactly thrilled by the events. She wants Safeguard to go out and track down Calamity and the Syndicate and get this shit straightened out. And I'm really just kind of giving the Cliff Notes version here. And Max is like, hey, look, when we see Calamity, she's our number one target. You know, we're going to make sure we deal with her. And then they're interrupted by Calamity, and she's just like, oh yeah, how do you plan on doing that? And that is where the story ends. And so yeah, I really don't have much in the way of criticisms here. I didn't find any spelling errors like I did in the previous two. And again, those were just like one word that I could find off the just while reading everything. I didn't see anything that really stuck out to me. So I don't have much in the way of any real issues. I love the character designs in these. I really love like all of the artistic work being created. All the women, you know, they're very attractive women. Like I was making note of, I believe her name is Diabolique. I don't know if I'm saying the name correct, but I'm like that is a fitting name. If I were to like look at her, yeah, that is a name that I could see potentially coming to my mind if I were creative enough to try and come up with things. But yeah, I can see why Crimson would be pretty upset about losing her. I'm like, look at her. Yeah, I can see that. You know, these are attractive women. These are the guys. They're big muscle bound things. And you understand that they're gonna mess you up pretty good. I will say Morbid's not exactly attractive. she's kind of a joke character, but not in the same way as Hive Mind. I do get a kick out of just watching her do her thing. Yeah, I just nothing but praise really on this one. I would probably say that this is the strongest issue up to this point. Got a whole lot going on. You got Ten. She's making a desperate attempt to try and get out of there because she doesn't want to be controlled anymore. She does go on to say that when she was talking with the architect, like, I don't want to be anybody's pawn. I just want to just be me. I don't really want either side, to be honest. And I think she is a likable character. I don't think she's really girl bossy. You know, she's a tough woman. She's created to be strong and things like that. So, like, I don't really have any problems. I mean, she does get her ass kicked quite a bit. She is having to fight tooth and nail to get out of here. She lost, and that's how she ended up being here in the first place. She's only alive because Calamity's just like, well, we could just use her and basically use her to do to like the Safeguard that they were Division M was using for us, you know, just Uno reverse card on them. So I like everything that Dave's got going on over here. I really, really like this world. This is definitely up there, probably in my top 3, if not at least top 5 of indie comics at this point. So definitely worth checking out. And if this sounds like something you want to check out, be sure to check the link in the description where you can get a copy for yourself, or at least 2 to follow should a second chance campaign arise. But that is all I have for today, guys. So until next time, take care and God bless.